oral care. Oral care is very much important, okay? It's very much important, and I think everybody should concern themselves with everyone's oral care. Hey y'all, so I'm getting ready for a job interview, and I figured that I freaking film a video. So a virtual job interview again. But this video, as you can see from the title, is going to be about red flags. So I'm gonna talk a little bit quick, like a true New Yorker. New Yorker, as some would say. But yeah, life update, I guess. I've been dating, and it has been quite the experience. It has its ups and its downs. It can be fun, but to be honest with you, I personally have not been having fun. Okay. I've been having, I don't know how to summarize what I've been having. It's just a lot of up and down. Not literally though. All right, so I want to talk about red flags for women. So this is for my girls. I don't care how the guys feel about what I'm gonna tell you, but I'm gonna put y'all on because I think it's important for you guys to know what to look out for. So first things first, when you are looking at a guy's profile, I'm gonna include snippets of things that I've avoided, screenshots of conversations I've avoided, things I've avoided. So when a guy says in his profile that you should be his piece, that is a red flag. When he says a woman should be his piece, he needs her to be his piece, that is a huge red flag, because he is already putting women in a category of just serenity. Meaning you will be able to express how you feel, because then you're not being his piece. So he just wants to see you as refuge. He's not seeing you as an individual, because the reality of relationships is that you're not always gonna get along. You know, it's not always gonna be daisies and just happiness. You're gonna go through trials and tribulations, because it's gonna test your relationship. Now, if you communicate effectively, then your relationship should be able to withstand any turbulence that you experience in your relationship. You should be able to withstand it because you communicate effectively. That right there is a red flag. It lets me know this person may not be good at communicating. Another red flag is when he says, she should be able to cook for me. When a man is automatically assigning a woman's role, like with the other example, he's already establishing what you are bringing. You okay, kitty? What happened? Are you okay? You know, I stop everything for my child. Anyways, she don't want to be bothered. She want to bother me a little bit, not too much. But when a man is like already establishing your role in the relationship, that right there. But this might not be something you mind, you know. Some women don't mind having their roles established, just knowing what position to play in a relationship. This is more for my modern girls or mixed modern tradition women, that they just want a relationship like me to flow. Not on some, oh, you're the woman. You need to be in the kitchen. You need to be my shoulder to lean on. No, we need to be each other's shoulder to lean on. Don't do that. Don't do that. So that's another red flag. Another red flag is these pictures that these guys are posting. Y'all, seriously? Oh man, like these pictures that guys are posting have left me really concerned on some, what team are you really playing for? Are you really trying to pursue a woman, or really are you just alright, no disrespect, but I feel like a lot of dudes out here just looking for beards. And if you don't know what a beard is, look up in the Urban Dictionary, but I'll tell you too. Urban Dictionary says that beard is a woman who's just there to help a man camouflage who he really is. So you know how a beard hides your face, and you don't really see what men really look like who they really are, because the beard really masks. That's what some women are to some men that are not heterosexual. They're just using women to hide who they really are. And there's nothing wrong with being a homosexual man. There's nothing wrong with being a bisexual man. But there is something wrong with misleading women to believe that you are a heterosexual man when you are not. There is something completely wrong with that, because I do think it's important for your partner to know about your sexual whereabouts. You know, anybody should know about your sexual whereabouts, because you should be exchanging medical information, and you should let each other know the truth of who you are and what you like to do and engage in and whatever. So I think that that's a big truth that needs to be established beforehand. And when somebody fails to do so, it speaks volumes of who they are. So let's talk about these pictures. I do not like Drake. I used to like Drake, but when I saw Drake perking his lips, and I'm starting to see like a lot of men doing a lot of female poses, you know, like looking down on the ground, with their toes pointed a certain way. I've literally seen men have one foot up and one down. Like I don't know what's going on with the world, but the kind of man I want is not gonna be doing that. So I've had to like really be like, nah, I'm good. Another thing to look for in pictures when y'all looking at pictures, right? Oh, I forgot to mention another red flag. Let's throw red flags out there. Another red flag is when you see these pictures, I need you to look at the background. I need you to look at how tall the person is, right? You're gonna look at the doorway. If y'all saw the TikTok of that guy that said that he's dominant and then everybody realized how little he is, y'all need to use that too. Context clues. Look at the surroundings and see how tall people really are, because they're lying about how tall they are. All right, these men are lying how tall they are. So I need you to look at that. I need you to look at his background. I need you to look at his nails. Okay, y'all need to look at his nails. If he's uploading pictures and he got a booger, all right, I need you to acknowledge that. Do not overlook that. And if you find a guy, he looks cute with his mouth closed, ask for a picture of his mouth open. That's another hygiene that you need to know about, because oral care is very much important, okay? It's very much important, and I think everybody should concern themselves with everyone's oral care that they're trying to engage in any sexual activities with. Yeah. But yeah, ask for that. Another thing too is hat fishing. Y'all need to see if there's hats, you know? If that person is wearing a hat in every picture, then you already know, okay, maybe this is an insecurity that they have. And maybe they're just not okay with their hair loss. And for some guys, I understand, like, it could be like very, very stressful and just like hard to cope with, especially because it's not something that most people engage in open conversation about. But that's the thing you have to acknowledge as a woman, and you have to decide, like, okay, do I want to accept his hair loss? Because that's kind of like what's gonna be the situation. Or some of them, because that's another thing, I have a pet peeve of mine, that most men that want to have kids have the biggest heads. They got the nerve to have big ass heads, and it's like, bro, you don't gotta push out the kid, so why are you making these requests? Because that's another thing you have to acknowledge, is if the man sees your purpose as just being a breeder, because some men feel that way low-key, but they're not gonna tell you that they feel like women are just here to breed, so you should be just giving him a kid because he wants one. So that's another red flag to see. Some men feel like women are just put on this earth to procreate, and some men will question you when you don't have children, or when you do have children, they will have like this idea in their head that you're gonna have their kids. So that's another thing that you need to discuss. Also pay attention to how he talk about his ex-girlfriend. Pay attention to how he talk about his ex-girlfriend. If he's not speaking about her in a manner that is tasteful, then you need to just be quiet and listen and really look at him and be like, huh. And you need to ask what went wrong with your last relationship. You need to know, how has a person grown since their last relationship? What are things that they think they need to work on? You know, like, if people walk around thinking that they're perfect, that's a huge red flag. I think another red flag that I went through recently was, so this guy, right? That's another thing you need to consider, is the distance of the person that you're gonna date. Y'all have to talk about the person drives, and if they do or they don't. If they don't, I don't drive. Then you need to think, okay, if we do date, then how is this gonna work? And you need to establish if that person is on this site because they want to date. Because most of these dudes on these sites, they are there because of the season. Okay, that's another thing I noticed with men. Men date seasonally. Okay, if the weather calls for rainy, cold nights, you better believe these dudes, they're gonna start acting right. They're gonna start getting on these sites, and they're gonna start looking for a prospect, a potential cuddle buddy. And most of them are not serious. They just really looking for some cuddy. So you need to just get that out the way and get that established. Because recently, this guy from Long Island, he presented himself as such, and an affluent man, and he made a big fuss about coming to get me. He was just like, it's okay, I'll just send a cab to get you, and we hang out here in Long Island. That seemed very kind of him, but at the end of the day, I think we should be meeting at a common area, because it is not safe for me to just turn around and hop in a cab and meet you somewhere, because hello, human trafficking. And I brought that to his attention, and he tried to play dumb, and he's just like, oh, we're not trying to get in trouble over here. Like, he tried to make himself seem like a good guy, and I was just like, no. Like, women, don't settle. Like, if you want to be courted appropriately, then you want to be courted appropriately, because he had an excuse that day, so I let him ride, and then I said to him, oh, we could just try again a different time. But that didn't sit well with me. I didn't like that at all, that he did that. I felt like sorry, I had to get close to the mirror. I felt like he was trying to get easy on me, and I didn't like that. So I don't know. I was like, let me take one for the team and see what this is really about. For research purposes, he did it again, and I went. And I'm gonna tell you, don't do it. The excuse was good this time too, and they live a very affluent life, and they had a very busy life. So I was trying to be understanding, but this is where I went wrong, trying to be a nice girl. Don't do it. Fuck that. Sorry, F that. Don't be nice. Cause when I went over to hang out with dude, can you believe him? He had a little attitude. He was being a little bit rude because he was hungry. And then we were hanging out, and he really tried to push up on me sexually. Now, this is a heterosexual man who likes women. Yes, of course. I can understand that you're gonna try to shoot your shot. I understand that you're gonna try to see what you can get away with, but don't try to overstep boundaries just because you have a hunger for who knows what. So he was trying to fill up on me, and that was not cool at all. And I felt like that was my time to go. It was time for me to leave. I came out all this way for nothing, and that's why I say to you, don't do it, okay? Unless you with it. But I think it's important for people to have these discussions beforehand, like, because some people are gonna turn around and say to me, oh, you know what time it was? You just came over there to hang out. Yeah, I freaking did. And that was naive of me. But it's a shame that men get away with that they could just plot on you like that and not be old enough or mature enough to say, hey, I'm looking for sex right now. So if you were to come through, if not, then I'm sorry, but we're not a match. So I wouldn't like that at all. I don't get upset about these things because it's just unfortunate with that gender. Like, that's so common with that gender. But I'm not going to assume that all genders are like that. But I should have did better screening to avoid these issues. I have my little screening process that I do. But just don't do it. Just make sure that you have your boundaries established and that your boundaries are being respected and followed through. So that's what I'm gonna tell you about that. But as you can see, the red flags in that situation was like homie making excuses to come link with me, me being displaced so far away from my home, and you know, unfortunately, this person, I know their address and they know mine. I'm not worried. I don't think that they're like crazy like that, but I don't recommend that to any women out there. Don't do it. For women, I don't recommend it. Just establish boundaries and make sure that they are being met. If there are any changes to the plans, make sure that they are changes you're comfortable with and that they're not being brought on to you very sudden and last minute, because some people will throw you off that way too. They'll do something very last minute to make it convenient for them. The unfortunate part of dating is you never know the true intention of the individual at hand. It applies to men and women. So another thing that I will add is in my dating is don't bring them back to your home. I mean, it's not always gonna go bad, but like when you first meet the person, don't bring them to your house. Just don't. I know that it's very limited due to COVID and stuff like that, but I'm telling you right now, don't do it, because then if they do something you don't like, you're gonna be stuck with them, and it's very hard to kind of transition on some hey, can you leave now type stuff. So I think it's just best that you meet in a common area and just, you know, meet in a safe space. Keyword, staying safe. A red flag would be if somebody is insisting going back to your home and you're not planning on that. It's like, okay, no, then that's another thing that you gotta watch out for. I think another red flag is when you ask for medical paperwork and he tells you that he is fine, there's nothing wrong with him. That's when you need to start asking, like, okay, when's the last time you've been to the dentist? When's the last time you went to this type of doctor? And if they tell you that they don't really need to visit this doctor, it's a red flag. Because, sir, just because you believe you have good health, I need to know that you are keeping your records up to date, your medical records. Some men feel that, oh, we have protected sex, we don't need to exchange paperwork, but the truth is you do. Because let me tell you, women, there's HPV out here, and HPV is a real thing. You know, that's another thing that that's a red flag, is you have to notice when somebody's preying on you, when they're like plotting to get you drunk and bring you to their home. Not to say that's what happened to me, but you need to be able to distinguish when somebody's like feeding you drinks and they're like, hey, you want another one. So there's another red flag to be mindful about. But I think it's so important to have these conversations, and if you find yourself in a circumstance with someone who does not want to have this conversation, then like I said, run, because you're gonna be very apologetic if you keep messing with this person, because they obviously have no regard for your safety or their own safety. So I've been like running into is bitter ass baby daddies, and I don't know, it's like these guys, they forget, like men forget that they have the loaded gun. Like women can't force you to come, you know, like maybe if they shove something up your ass, probably, no disrespect, respectfully, because that's your G-spot, so you're gonna come naturally. But which is why a lot of men don't like getting colonoscopies, but I digress. But women don't force men to ejaculate in them. You can reach almost your climax and then she wrap her legs around you, but remember, the semen is coming out of you, and if you're choosing to have unprotected sex with her, then you have to know that that's the risk that you run with, where you are engaging in very, you know, dangerous behavior, and you're running on dangerous territory. So don't be surprised at the results that you get. You play stupid games, you get stupid prizes, period. I think another red flag is knowing, you know, emotional unavailability through conversation. I feel like people get bored and they'll have conversations with you, but it's never gonna go nowhere. And I think it's important for women, it's important for us to notice that and move accordingly. It's so important to know when you're wasting your time with someone and just like move accordingly, because if you don't ask men, they won't tell you. They won't tell you nothing. They really be on some don't ask, won't tell. So I think it's important for you to know to ask these things and just pay attention and read between the lines, because that usually tells you everything. Because some guys are not going to tell you that they're living with a spouse. They do this thing where when they head home, right, like when they work, during work they'll text you, and then they'll text you on the route home. But when they get home, they don't text you anymore, and that's a red flag right there. And that lets you know that they're living with either their child's mom or they have a partner. Because that's another thing I learned while being on a dating site, is that a lot of these men have a relationship that they're just not happy with, and instead of letting the person go and letting them know that it's not working, they rather continue to waste their time and disturb your time and bother you and make you believe that it's gonna become something, and it's not. So I just think it's important for ladies to just steer clear and know when somebody is finessing you, when they are wasting your time, because bruh, they really out here doing it. And like I said, it's seasonal, and everything they doing right now, everything they're saying is gonna sound really good, because you know nobody wants to spend the holidays alone. I get it, I understand, but I'm not gonna sit here and lie to myself and entertain no BS relationship because I want to have consistent peeing in my life. It would be nice, but you know, another experience that I had that's a red flag to me that I'm working on. All right, I'm gonna go finish getting ready. I'm gonna get dressed and just come back and finish my face, and then we're gonna wrap this little conversation up, okay? Because I'm running a little behind. All right, so I'm back. Let me zoom you out because y'all need to see the full. Okay. So ignore that. Like, y'all, that's another story. I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to leave New York, and it's living parameters and conditions. I'm over it. But anyways, I just need to put my lashes on. I just did my little interview. I hope I did well. It's so hard because I want to get paid my value, and it seems like some jobs just don't want to pay you. They just want you to work for them and just suffer for like a cheap rate, and I'm not. So know your worth. That's another thing I need to tell you is know your worth. Like, this is applicable to men or women, but I do feel like Kevin Samuels got these men out here, you know. But anyways, I think it's so important for you to know your worth. Like, it's so important for you to know what you're willing to deal with and not deal with, because people are gonna try you, they're gonna test you, they're gonna put you through things, and they want to see what you're willing to tolerate. Don't mention what you tolerated in the past, because that's not who you are anymore, and that's not what you're willing to. Sorry, I'm being loud. That's not what you're willing to deal with anymore. So I'm gonna tell you right now, don't talk about what you put up with in the past. Don't bring it up no more. And just know your worth. Just know your worth, because somebody else is gonna tell you your worth if you let them, and they're gonna show you what your worth is too. So you need to establish that, and the way you do that too is by taking care of yourself, feeding yourself better, being kinder to yourself, being gentle with yourself and patient with yourself, and not expecting you to be perfect. Like, honestly, sorry y'all, I'm putting the glue on my lash band. Honestly, like, I struggle so much secretly because me having a thyroid condition and me just me being thrown such a curveball, like, this condition I have just came from trauma. It came from stress, and it really threw me for a loop because I'm still trying to adapt, and I'm still trying to, like, kind of cope with it. But it really changed me, and it changed my appearance, and I'm still struggling with it because not just this condition, but like me getting on a birth control that was not good for me. And it's like so much happened to me, but I can't blame anyone, you know? And it's just only something I have to deal with, and I have to either accept it and cry about it, or accept it and fight back and just push forward, fight forward, you know, get somewhere. But it's so important to love yourself in the process and just know what you're willing to tolerate, you know? Because if you won't tolerate it from yourself, don't tolerate it from someone else. Like, but that's what I'm saying. If you don't love yourself, then someone else is not going to, because they're gonna notice, they're gonna know, you know, that you just don't care about yourself that way. So they're gonna feel like, okay, why should I care about her? She's over here stuffing burgers in her mouth. And that's the thing too. Like, I make observations. I try not to be too judgmental, because I can be, but I'm very much been humbled with this condition because my thyroid stopped working completely. I could have been a goner. Honestly, I could have been a goner, but luckily I'm not. I don't really like these lashes, so we're not gonna use these. But I could have been a goner, and luckily I'm not. And I gotten COVID too, and I've just been fighting this inflammation in my body. And it's a day by day process. It's not just something that happens overnight. And it would be ridiculous of me to expect something to happen overnight, because that's not how life works. Now, before I make these moves, I have to submit another application for another interview. My poor cat. Y'all almost lost my baby. My little baby. She was not doing well. But you know what? I said nope. I ain't giving her up that quick, that easy. Not my baby. Come on. Y'all ever been to a guy's house and it be musty? Like, be weird. That's another thing. Man, I don't even know how much shit I should talk on this, because it's gonna hurt a lot of feelings. It's gonna hurt people's feelings. But a big red flag I'll say to you is if a man does not show you compassion, okay? If you trip and fall, or if you slip and fall, or if something happens to you in his presence that may result in you being hurt and you potentially crying or feeling despair or vulnerable, and he does not come to your aid, girl, run. Because a lot of these dudes out here hate women. They really do. They just want to be in your snatch, but they don't care. They don't care about you. And some people feel like, oh, why should he have to care about you if he don't really know you? But Okay, so then if you get shot in front of me, I don't call the police, I don't call ambulance, I don't do anything. I just watch you bleed out. I'm not supposed to care. I don't know who raised these people, but and if he don't try to clean up his home, if his home, right, like if you go to his house, right, last minute, right, and his sheets don't look clean, don't smell clean, run, baby, run, start coughing, God forbid, and say you got the Rona. Leave, just leave. Don't put yourself through that, baby, because no, you deserve some clean sheets. You hear me? Some clean fucking sheets. Sorry for cursing, but because these dudes, they have nerve. I don't even care he see this video. This dude, bro, it's a nice clean guy, never smelled nothing wrong, you know. But one time I came over and and his sheets, they was just not it was just not right. It was wrong. It was so wrong. I ain't gonna talk about what his sheets had, but listen, I like clean sheets. And the thing is, if he don't even attempt to clean them, like he don't make you wait in the living room and then go change them, at least for you, just run, just go. I just can't. This dating shit is just not, it's for the birds. And I don't even want my ex either. But just don't settle. Like, a guy could try to like hurt my feelings and be like, oh, you this, that, and the third. Like, this is okay, hold on, let me put this lash on and then I'm gonna get up and just show you what I look like, okay? But just know this is temporary. I'm not gonna look like this forever. You hear me? Forever. But you, honey, you might. You might. So yeah, like I was gonna get up. I need to clean my kitchen. So this is what I look like, y'all. This is my baggy shirt. And my pants. But yeah, so I'm not finna let nobody make me feel like the way I look is permanent. Not to say that there's anything wrong with the way I look, because I'm still fine as fuck. But like, people will just try to get in your head, and I'm telling you, don't let them. Don't. That was my advice to women. Like, don't, like, you need to be able to peep when somebody is trying to mess with your equilibrium. But that's my look, y'all. I'm gonna change my earrings to some hoops. Big old hoops, and then fix my little kitchen and just take my little ass. I'm gonna go downstairs to get my package and my mail, and then come back, do this application, and then go downtown. I'll holla later. Bye, y'all.